And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Day. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I do every day. It is so good to see you all. It's been a busy weekend. Really not so. I've been editing, lots of editing, and which I'm glad because I need to get some photos into my stock image account so I can start getting some photos and trying to make some money. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make some money on my photos, and especially from Iceland. So it's a lot of photos. I took so many photos in Iceland. I needed to knock these out. So the objective is to get 100 photos on stock images by the end of this week. So, and then because also I start traveling again on this weekend. So after this week, I'll be in South Carolina next week and doing interior design projects. So if there's anyone that's in South Carolina that wants to connect, let me know. Maybe I can fit you into the schedule. Maybe. I know I've been working hard. I'll be working like a bandit, but I'll be working. And if you want to connect with me in South Carolina, that would be great. And then right after that, I'll head to Mexico City. So it's going to be a it's going to be a busy week. So prepping this week for everything that's coming up in the next 3 weeks. It's going to be a busy calendar. And again, it's all about connecting with folks from different parts of. Let me get my chair right. Am I right? Yeah, let me get that. I got to get right into the vertical. The vertical is a little off, so I had to make sure I was in the right seat. Okay, so welcome. Today is Motivation Monday, and a lot to talk about. I know I shouldn't be laughing about this, but it is Motivation Monday, and we will be talking about the life of a whisperer. But that was really funny to me because um, for those that don't know, if you're in American politics, if you follow politics like I do in America, I am a global citizen, but I do follow the politics in America. And the United States lost one of their senators this weekend. Um, should I be respectful or should I not? But I always say Lady Lindsey Graham, the Senator Lady Lindsey Graham. He is no longer with us. And he was a bad person. And there's no getting around it. And just, they say, I know people say, don't say, I am not a believer of don't speak ill of the dead. I don't believe in that. If the person that died was a bad person, then you have to just tell the truth. You just have to tell the truth. When someone's a bad person, you just say it. This person was a bad person. Have you ever been to a funeral where everyone's trying to be nice? When they know the person in the coffin, it was a bad person. And that was this weekend. So this weekend, I began to look at obviously, Sundays, I try to look, sometimes I look at the political shows. And these people, and this is what makes American politics so harsh and so, like, you just want to scream. You just want to scream because here was these Democrats that were on these television shows, and they were saying how wonderful Mr. Graham was and what he did and all the things he did. And I'm like, do you know how many people are not alive because of Mr. Graham? Anyway, so but just like, so it's so funny because what you saw on TV with all the accolades of a person that we did not know, that was not a real public servant, that was really a bad person, that did all kinds of crap, that never was a real stand-up person. But the internet, social media had no mercy. Some of it was beyond, some of it was over the top, I would say. But some of it was funny as funny can be. And the reason why is because this man was a bad man. He wasn't a good man. But like they say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So maybe he got some things right, maybe one or two things out. But guess what? He was a bad man. Anyway, we'll talk about that as a community. I'll hear what you have to say, but I want to say good morning to folks. Let's say good morning. Let's say good morning. I see some people from our early morning crew inside the building as well. So Hannah gets the gold this morning. She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. So good to see you, Hannah. And Gwendolyn is in the building. She's in the building. And if you want to come on, Gwendolyn, you're more than welcome to also. But if the Gwendolyn gets the silver, we just leave it that way. Gwendolyn gets the silver, and I'm moving right on through this. Hannah says, I'm out there working in this hot yard. And Tanya says, hello, Ron. Touch Base Daily family. So good to see you. Miss Tanya's in the building, and Aya is in the building. She says, hey, Ron and everybody, everyone at Touch Base Daily. And I see also some more good mornings between y'all. And the wonderful Bryson is in the building. He says, what's up, Ron? What's up, Touch Base Daily fam? Happy money making Monday. And everybody is recovering from Jay-Z 3 nights. Brought out the Avengers at Yankee Stadium. There were some folks around here that was there. Busy. And yeah, so it was I heard different things about this concert. Anyway, you know, I'm not that much of a Jay-Z fan, but you know, hey, to each his own. Hannah says, good, Gwendolyn. Okay, got that. And Gwendolyn says, I believe the person who said don't speak ill of the dead is more than likely someone who was an awful person. Chris says Cory Booker called him a hero. I was like, are you kidding me? See, this is why no one respects American politics. Because guess what? I don't know. Have you ever seen Parliament? Have you ever seen how they go at each other in Parliament in England or the UK? It's a delightful sport. I love UK politics. I don't know all the names, but I do enjoy when they spar against each other in the Parliament. Most parliaments, yes, you get it out. Get it out. When a person's bad, the person's bad. Anyway, what is Bryson saying? And Sam Neill passed away today. If y'all seen him on Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park 3, and the Hunt for Red October, Event Horizon, and Bicentennial Man. So Sam Neill passes away. So thank you, Bryson. Kimmy Kim is in the building. She says, good morning. I see, hey, Jay is in the building. Jay Atkins is in the building. Exactly, bro. I was unhappy he had an easy death after all the suffering he caused. Yes, Jay. Yes. You know how many women are suffering because of this man? Because, I mean, you'll see. I have a couple of clips I want to share with y'all, and I'll share them. And but here we go. Also, good morning. I see Chris says good morning. You guys are just okay. I see all the love. I see, hey, Kelly A is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. And again, if you're in the building, hit the likes, hit the subscribe if you're here for the first time, and hit the notification bell. So, speaking of the subscribe, notification bell, and like, it seems that everyone on YouTube is going through these anomalies that are happening in the feeds, like how many people are on, how many people are seeing, everyone seems to be being reduced in how they're connecting with their audience, or they're not getting as many new people. I can't complain. We're doing good here compared, but when you think about the percentages, but a lot of people are not getting traction in their lives, even though lives is the best way to reach people. You know, we gained 7 subscribers this morning. I get more subscribers in the morning than I get here, but it's like, yeah. So Clay says, good morning, everyone. So always hit the like. The algorithms are dependent upon the like. So hit the likes if you are in this audience. Chris is in the building. Miss Chris R. She goes, I'm late. I'm so tired from watching Jay-Z last night. As quiet as it's kept, I'm not a big fan, but I enjoy watching the shows. So, Chris, did you go to the concert last night? Were you at Yankee Stadium last night? Some folks around here were there. Some folks from this household were there. Not moi. No, I was here. So, I'm not a Jay-Z fan, but I appreciate. I think I only like 2 or 3 of his songs, but his raps or whatever. I feel some kind of way with him in Target. Just saying. I'm not going down that road. Nope. I'm not going down that road today. Nope. I refuse. Dr. Tachi's in the building. She says, good day all. Good day all. Dr. Tachi, you're more than welcome to pop. Should I send out these invitations in case y'all want to pop in? Let me just do that because I'll do that. Let me do that real quick because I'm saying y'all can come on, but you gotta have the link, right? Only one that has a link is Chris. So let me put that out there in case y'all want to come on. And I have to always do that. So let me send that out there to you guys in case you want to pop on. I know Elise is somewhere. She's somewhere in Brooklyn. And we got Gwendolyn. First of all, to have Gwendolyn free is a good thing because she's been busy and working. And I'm sure she has a lot to say about the Lady Graham as well in her Southern way. And so, the Lady Graham, I mean, the internet was going wild. I have to tell you, last night it was going wild even more. And this morning, I got to read some of it. And I was like, what in the world? These folks are brutal. But what makes me laugh is not so much what people post, is what people comment about the post. Social media can be such an uplifting tool once in a while. Once in a while, you can sit there and just laugh your head off and not laugh. I woke up this morning laughing so hard as I was reading, not reading, but clicking on these social media posts. I was dying laughing. Could not stop laughing. I know. There's my partner in crime. I hear her coming in the door.
Good morning.
What's up, work wife?
Oh man, I tell you. You know what? You're right. It is funny to be free on a Monday. You are correct about that. It's been a while.
So I'm going to take advantage of this, having you here.
I know.
Wasn't it a mess? I mean, have you gone through the social media?
You know what? I haven't, and I'm like you. I'm under the belief that whoever said you should not speak ill of the dead was probably an awful person, because the whole idea of pretending that someone is all of a sudden like this saint, like who does that? And why are we doing that? Like, cut that out. Yeah. Ain't nobody doing that.
Mm-mm. Why are you talking so like, oh, this guy was great, or this girl was good, or this woman was? When someone's a bad person, you have to just say it. And
yes,
it's amazing how you live is how people respond when you die. If you were a good person, people really are committed. Oh my gosh, she was so amazing. She helped the homeless. She did this. He did that. People will always speak, most people, the honest truth about how people lived when they're gone.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? I am sure there are probably some people who are like, that Gwendolyn, ugh. But I don't think I would get dragged like Lady Graham. He really was awful. If you think about the impact every single person has on this world.
Yes.
This guy was in a position that he could have done something else, but he had no backbone, none whatsoever. one moment he and a whole bunch of others are talking about Kankles, how he's unfit, how he's this, how he's that. And the next moment, he's his best friend. It's like, seriously? Really? Yeah. So, no, he was not a great person. Like, cut that out. Do I
Think about it.
understand them flying the flag at half mast? I get that. Like, do
Yes.
that. But please
Like,
don't
yeah,
come out
he's a
here and act
senator.
like, oh my God, man, cut that out. Like, cut it out. Full stop.
Lady Graham was a bad person. I mean, we lost Obama. Not only was it McConnell that stopped that Congress, I'm sorry, the SCOTUS position
Hmm.
and stole it
Hmm.
from Obama. It was
Hmm.
Lady Graham at the and said, "Oh, we can't do it." It was his create. He was technically the mastermind, and McConnell went along with it. These two people, which I still think, I know they had little pictures of McConnell out there, but why not a live video? And if Americans are that weak mentally to think that McConnell is okay because you saw a photo. That photo is not a recent photo, if I may say. And it is alleged that his wife is no longer in America. She went back to China like last week.
Yeah.
So how did they get that
Yeah. I
picture
heard that too.
with her side by side?
I need a live press
I want a
conference.
living video. If this man is
Hmm.
alive, if he's not brain dead, as some people are alleging, saying, then why can't you show a video? I know that's the next one after we talk about Graham. Lady Graham, though, these two people were when you think of American politics, they are the worst. Now, there have been some racists, bigots, and all kinds of people in politics in America.
Hmm.
But in the modern age, these two people are the worst political people to ever, in this century and the last century, to probably walk the halls of Congress. These people were just nasty, mean, evil people.
And warmongers. I mean,
Yes,
like literally, when you stop and
warmongers.
think about like someone's legacy, and this, clearly we could go all over, but it's like when you think about what you're going to be remembered for, you're talking about fighting wars, and you're not even in them. You want to
No,
send other people's kids over there to die, and for what is the question? It's like, I mean,
and Lady
he's
Graham
an
had
awful
no
person.
children, so he
Yes,
had no children that were going to be at risk.
no, none. I mean, these people were just, and he's not the only one. There is
No,
a whole hall of them that will soon meet their maker very soon. But think about this too, though, and I don't want to go back to the age thing, but I'm gonna go back to the age thing, and we can sort of tiptoe into Mitch. This whole deal of, oh, I'm in the center. I'm getting my rest. I had a bout with pneumonia and I've had some falls, but I'm gonna come back to the Senate. Look, at some point you gotta sit your old ass down. Like, seriously, retire. Retire. He is past his prime. They are past their prime.
absolutely.
It's like at what point do we say you need to just step down? It's ridiculous.
So this is a clip that it had me dying laughing. I just couldn't help it. But it is Monday, and I have to tell you, I know that sounds bad. This is gonna sound really bad. The loss, which I don't think is a loss, of Lady Graham is probably one of the best things that have happened to America. And I am not feeling any sadness. And what's amazing to me is I'm not alone. Most
Mm.
Americans, as I'm seeing on social media, feel the same way. What is also something that really is not triggering, but makes you ponder, why did these people from South Carolina keep voting this guy in when he did nothing for them? He was a horrible person. Why did these people vote this man in over and over again? Last time he ran against a black guy, beautiful wife and children, beautiful education, a beautiful family, great guy. And these mofos, if I would use a better word, put the same idiot back in the Senate. Anyway, well, this was really funny to me. And I have to share it because I have not laughed so much in the last 2 weeks. So this gave me a lot of laughs. And here we go. Let's share this wonderful person. So here we go. And let's go. Oops.
Miss Lindsey, Scarlett O'Hara, Bartholomew, Beatrice Graham III. And my heart goes out to all the male escorts who are now unemployed. If times weren't tough enough. But here's to the glass half full. Now those hustlers are free to be employed by any number of hypocrite closet cases. Boy, oh boy. The Grim Reaper seems to have parked himself in Washington, D.C., hasn't he? Mitch the Turtle McConnell ain't looking too good. And you know these things happen in threes. So which crooked politician will it be? Gosh, there's so many ancients to choose from. I got a few in mind, but we'll just have to place our bets and see. Finally, something to look forward to. Seems those ladybugs have all dried up.
To me, I stopped laughing when I saw that
Oh my
clip.
gosh.
I don't even know who sent that clip to me. I just could not stop laughing. First of all, the whole point of the long names that he
Right.
Bartholomew and all the other stuff. I was like, Lindsey Graham, as we will and continue to say, yes, obviously his friends and his family, condolences to those people. But this man was a bad person to our country. And he was, like you said, a warmonger.
Yeah.
And they probably would not have been a Gaza situation if it wasn't for Lindsey Graham. Because they said at first Trump was totally against Netanyahu's war in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was Ladybug Lindsey that talked in his ear and said, we need to go to war. And Lindsey's been saying that for decades. This is nothing new. This is nothing new to anyone that follows politics. Lindsey has always wanted to fight wars in Israel.
Yeah.
He was the one that said also that the Palestinians should be wiped off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to kill a whole civilization. Lindsey Graham was not a good person.
No.
He was evil to the core. Again, the broken clock can be right twice a day. So, Lisa says, she says, so when did it start being okay to disparage the dead? We didn't like it when they did it to McCain, so why are we doing it now? I'm not disparaging it. We are saying the truth.
Yeah, I believe there is a difference.
There's a difference.
If you consider some of the worst murderers and other people who have harmed children and the elderly and things of that matter, you would say exactly who they are.
Yes.
We have this idea that because this person did not commit one of those crimes, that we should not tell the truth about the legacy they left. He hurt a lot of people. A lot. His politics in America were not, in my opinion, on the right side of history. We are in the boat we're in because of him. He was not a great man. He wasn't a good guy. Wasn't feeding the homeless. He was a warmonger, amongst other things. So, like, when people talk about it, we're not talking bad about him. We are literally using his history, his choices. That's the discussion.
And so here's another phrase, which I thought this guy brought it home. I mean, there's some other summaries that were excellent as well, but this one, I think this summary kind of says it all. And you may listen to this one, and we'll talk about it after.
Like every public office holder, is essentially two things at the same time. One, there is his personal life, his friends and family. I have compassion for them. They've lost someone they cared about. Being a politician is literally a job. He gets paid to do it by you. He enters a social contract by being voted into office to represent people's interests. That is a role for which he takes an oath. How I feel about his duties and performance in that is separate from however you want to feel about him as a person. Lindsey Graham betrayed his oath. Lindsey Graham defrauded the American public. Lindsey Graham is as corrupt and soulless as a politician can be. Lindsey Graham, by all accounts, lied to the public about who he was as a person for a decade while demonizing the very same group of people. There is not a more clear description or definition of a bad person. Lindsey Graham knew what Donald Trump was and was going to be. It would destroy our country, and chose to bow to him. Someone was murdered by ICE again last week. There are children being killed in Gaza in a genocide. Iranian school children being bombed. Lindsey Graham chose that without compunction, without hesitation, knowing it's wrong. Lindsey Graham was deceitful. Lindsey Graham was corrupt. Lindsey Graham is everything that is wrong with our American system. That is his legacy as someone who chose and continued to choose to represent the American public while lying to them. At any point in his life, he could have chosen to step aside from public office and live his life however he wanted. So my feelings about Lindsey Graham, whether or alive or having passed, are in regard to his contract with the American public that we paid him to do regarding his oath that he failed. You are welcome as a person, as a friend, as a colleague, to have whatever feelings you want about him personally. That doesn't change who or what he was as a hypocritical, deceitful, abjectly corrupt public servant, responsible for the death of innocent humans. Lindsey Graham, like every public office holder, is essentially two things at the same time. One, there is his personal life.
And I mean, you cannot, I mean, this is going viral. So a lot of people, I mean, this is many, there are many videos like that one. There are a lot of fun ones out there, but that one really sums it up. This guy was despicable. He did all kinds of evil to achieve power. He lived his life to always be near the power. Even when you think about, he was good friends with John McCain. That was, I mean, he literally is the godfather of one of the kids of John McCain. And still, I was a big fan of John McCain. I used to call myself Maverick when I was in aviation high school because of John McCain was a Maverick. I loved John McCain as a politician. Now, they're saying all politicians, I will say, everyone has a degree of what they are. But there is no one in politics, if you follow politics, as ruthless, as mean, and deadly as Lindsey Graham. And also coming to the panel is our wonderful Dr. Tachi.
Hey, how goes it? Can you hear me?
Oh, I was just sharing about the, our ladybug, Lindsey Graham, Lady Graham. So, but it's just, to me, and when you also see a lot of folks online on social media, in these social media streets, are talking about what the world will feel when Trump is finally gone.
Well, that was my thought,
Yeah.
because when Kankles passes, and it looks like there's a conversation happening clearly, because he's looking like he's halfway there. You can't really think that everybody's going to be like, oh my God, he was so amazing. Come on now, come on. Like again, his family, his friends will feel the way they feel. And yes, he is a father, grandfather. I get that. But his decision that he's made, the impact he has had on people, it's not going to be this rosy colored thing. We can't act like, if we talk about what he's done to this country and others, that it's going to be in a positive light. Like, we're not going to do that.
I agree. So, Dr. Tachi, welcome aboard. I'm sure you probably saw the social media streets, being that you are doing your social media as well. Just get her mic together.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. Just making sure that you can. Sorry, social media streets.
Yes. Oh, I'm saying I know Lisa feels one way, but not most of the world does not feel the way Lisa feels, and even though she's mentioning in the chat, a lot of folks are definitely sharing their point of view, and I will say, it is not disrespectful. It is not disrespectful to Mr. Graham because of the way he lived. He was, again, a very bad person. What do you say?
So I'm seeing everything out in the social media streets, as you like to call them, as we like to say, and I'm seeing all the comments. And the interesting thing about this, whenever there's two things I want to bring up. The interesting thing about this is when things like this happen, when somebody passes away who was as horrible as he was, they continue, the families and people around them continue to ask for grace, as if the grace is deserved. So, and you brought up something, oh yeah, you were saying how people would say, oh, well, he's a grandfather, he's a father. Well, so are the people that he has denigrated throughout life. So it's as if, because someone has died, now we are expected to put aside all the deplorable things they have done because they have died. And this is the thing, especially people of color, we're good for this because we're so, and again, it goes back to our religiosity, it goes back to faith, because we are so faithful in the way we think about things, we behave in ways that let them continue to act this way. Because we continue to say, I forgive you. When we continue to say, well, don't speak ill about someone who has passed. Because we continue those things, it gives them a free pass to behave however they would like every time. They never suffer the consequences for it. And I do understand that the Lord said, vengeance is mine. I understand that and I get it. But I also do think that God works through individuals, to, just like you can't just sit there and pray away an illness. You have to actually get your stupid self up and go to the doctor, because God has empowered people with that, with the knowledge to help you. It's the same thing in this case. Even though they're not necessarily equivalent, it's that same line of thinking. So why would we blame people who have been so hurt by these individuals? Are you not supposed to feel anything? You're human. And if you didn't feel anything and you were so forgiving, guess what? You would be God. You would be Jesus, and you're not. So I resent the fact that people continue to behave or think that those of us that have been hurt by deplorable individuals should feel nothing and should. Now, I'm not saying celebrate. I'm not saying, have a dance mania party. I'm not saying that. But I also don't think we should hold people accountable who either feel nothing or who are like, oh, well, because the way you acted in life determines the way people treat your memory in death. I don't know what else to tell you. And there was another thing that you brought up in terms of when the occupant of the White House when that time comes for him. I'm looking, if you recall, South Florida, when they just thought that Fidel Castro had passed away. It hadn't happened yet, but they thought. You should have seen Miami. The streets were lit up as if Jesus was coming back. So I'm expecting much of that same type of behavior.
That same energy. The same energy. Like, I mean, when I'm reading through I've probably this morning, Asian man, I don't know if they were sleeping or what. They probably heard me cackling down here because I was laughing so hard at the statements that people were saying, but I understood where they were coming from. This man has hurt so many. The Black women that have lost their jobs, Lindsey Graham. You can trace a thread to Lindsey Graham. You think about the children of Gaza that are no longer, and the parents and the people and the buildings and all that stuff, Lindsey Graham. He has always been a war hawk. The people of Iraq, and Lindsey Graham. This man has not done good for many people. And it was Michael, what's his name? Michael, I forgot Michael's last name. One of the gentlemen that was hurt during January 6th. Falone, I think his last name, Falone. He shared his thoughts about the death of Graham. And he was saying how this man did not even have the dignity to even acknowledge the pain and hurt that those folks went through on January 6th. He said, could you watch my video of what happened? This is my body cam video. I want you to see what happened. He said, don't have time for it. And so this is not an individual should be celebrated on any, I mean, like I said, his family, those that loved him. But when you think about all of the harm this individual has done to millions, not hundreds, not thousands, millions of people have been affected by this one man. And that's why when you go through social media this morning, if you have not done it, there's a whole lot to be said about Lindsey Graham because he hurt so many people. There is no, he does not deserve honor. He does not deserve respect. Whatever happens in the afterlife happens. And he was a very bad person. So, just saying. I thought it was quite interesting. Adrian says this, Proverbs says, Adrian says, do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and do not let your heart be glad when he stumbles. Okay, I hear that. Yes. And good morning, family. He was evil, and he is reaping what he gave in life, says Chris. Adrian says, I won't celebrate, but it's okay to acknowledge that you aren't mourning them either. The world is a better place without some people, period. So, yes.
Can I add on to that real quick?
That's fine. That's how we're talking.
And this goes back to what Dr. Tachi says. You know, we often, as the American society, bring in this religious piece. First of all, everyone does not celebrate the exact same religion. So let's just go ahead and put that aside. Okay. Everybody's not a Christian, right? You got Hindus and everything else in this country. So we often speak with this blanket idea that everybody reads the Bible, believes in God, and all this stuff. That needs to go. I mean, like, I appreciate it. It goes to the wayside, though, because at the end of the day, we're all human. And if we want to bring in the Bible, I could have sworn ain't none of us good. So we already know that we're all on the same, same level playing field. But like Adrian mentioned, yeah, we're not speaking ill of the dead. We're not saying awful things about them, but I'm not missing this man either. I know he got family and my heart goes out to them. I know that letting go of loved ones is something that is hard for everyone to do, be that a human, be it a pet, right? Grief is grief. We're not talking about that. What we're saying, though, is this guy did awful things when he was on this earth. That's facts. And there's a whole bunch of other people that did awful things. And when they leave, I am not going to expect people to be like, oh my God, I feel so bad. No, ain't nobody missing them. Not on this side, and not for those reasons. We are not missing him as a senator. That is a no. And there's nothing wrong with being open and honest about how you feel. There's got to be a place for people to stop assuming that we should all, again, be in this whole deal of, well, you know, it's a bad thing. No, it's not. We are, like, let's just be honest. We are counting down the days that one of the two take cankles. Ain't nobody like, let's just go ahead and put it out there. We are counting those days down. That man has done some awful things and continues to do awful things. Yes, the world will be better without him. Sorry, not sorry. There it is.
Yep.
And
point blank, period. That is it.
Tachi?
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But you know, the thing is to let's not. You know, I'm sure that there are many of us that are.
Her feet is broken. Tachi, your feet is broken. Yeah. You may need to go out and come back in.
Different faiths in here. I'm sure.
Oh, there she is. There. Okay, she's frozen. Tachi, go in and come back out. Go out and come back in, I should say. But Gwendolyn, I agree with you. I mean, think about again.
Sure.
Oh, I don't think she can hear you.
Oh, she can't hear us either.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah. Just arrival. I see you in the building. Also, Lisa, I can.
Christian?
Because I can do the research. I'm pretty sure most religions have something pertaining to this subject. I agree. And he is in hellfire. Says tips. Class says no need to keep generating hate. Do not have to love, but learn from it. So do not repeat history. I see that.
Can we go back to that like real quick, Ron, please?
Yes.
So this is my take on it. There are shades of gray. But when we speak about stuff, we immediately go to a black and white side of it. That the idea that I can say, I'm not upset that this guy is gone means that we are now moving to a place of hate. I don't hate Senator Graham. I don't hate him. I don't feel one way about him. But I can definitely speak to my disdain for the decisions he made on behalf of the American people. I can speak to that. There's no hate there. There are so many emotions that we rarely talk about, that I'm not mad. I could be angry. I could be disappointed, right? I could detest what you're doing. I may not like what you stand for, but it doesn't always equate to hate. Now, are there some people who probably hate this man? That's a very good chance. Yeah, that may very well be there, but we can definitely use more than just the one or two of the emotions. So just because we may speak about his legacy, which is awful, does not mean that we hate this person. Those are not all the same thing.
Yes. Agree. Tachi, now you're back. You're clear now?
Yeah. I don't know. I think there was a little glitch in my internet. So this is all very interesting, and I can't tell anybody how to feel, because we all have different ways that we feel about these things. And I think however you may feel about it, that's fine. That's you. But what I was going to say is, when we look at the role of religion, and this doesn't mean that you don't believe, but I think it's okay for us to question certain things. But remember how religion was given to us. It was as a way to pacify us. Okay? So Christian religion, okay? I'm just speaking about Christianity, and not talking about Ethiopian Christianity and Coptic Christianity, not at all. Talking about how it was given to us in the Americas and in colonized places in Africa. Because, by the way, my parents were not Christians until they started colonizing Nigeria. Then they became all of that. So I'm coming from the point of view from before Christianity as well. So they use it as a way to pacify, so that when they do these deplorable things that they knew in their heart of hearts were deplorable, stealing people from lands to have them work for free other places, you know that's wrong. But if you can convince them, well, the Bible says you should not rejoice, you should not, you're going to have a problem with it. So that when something deplorable happens, and then this person is removed, you still have the colonial way of thinking about these events because you've been taught that. Now, again, I'm not saying celebrate. I'm not saying it's good to celebrate. None of that. But I'm saying, remember the context under which religion was given to us. And we still carry out those same feelings today when things happen. I just find it very interesting. And then, it's almost as if you're not supposed to question those things. But this is why they keep getting away with the acts that they do. And it's not right, and it's not fair. And at some point, just like the civil rights movement, people rise up and say, enough, we're done.
You bring up something that is very fascinating to me also, is that what makes America so viewed by the rest of the world as the hypocrisy is so great here is because the American society has this Judeo-Christian value system that really most people don't follow, but they follow it as ceremony. It's to share it as, oh, we shouldn't speak ill of the dead. No, if someone's evil and bad, you do speak the truth. Other countries have no problem with calling a spade a spade.
Absolutely.
American society lives in a fake utopia on all levels of our society. When you go to any other country around the globe, when the leader is bad, they say it. When that person is bad, they say it. Even at some funerals, they say it. It is an American utopia that everything should be beautiful. And I'm like I said when I first started, looking at the correspondence on ABC, CBS yesterday, and the folks that they were interviewing, and they were saying he's a hero. He did this. He did that. He did all of these accolades. And the very people that this man targeted were saying all these great things about him. You almost are like, wait a minute. Are we talking about the same person that died here? This is not, are you talking about the same? But this is what confuses our children. This is what confuses our society, is because when you see bad people need to be acknowledged as being bad. Mm-hmm. And American society is so fragile that we can never acknowledge what is wrong. Same thing with the presidency. Same thing with what the idiot in the White House is doing. Oh, he's the president. We must honor the president. When the president is bad, he is bad. And guess what? When this president takes the same road as Graham, it will not be just an American rejoicing. And some people are rejoicing because Graham is gone. It will be a global rejoicing. And that is the reality in the world we live in. Not, again, you bring up that good point. Most of the world is not Christian. As fact, Christianity is a dying religion in the world. It is dying. With most religions, a lot of religions are dying. But
if I may add on a piece about the deal about America and how it's a facade. There is a lot of mask wearing as you say, there is a refusal to call a spade a spade. And let's just look at ourselves. I'll start with me. I am very honest about who I am, right? I have no problem with self accountability. I understand that the way my brain works, I have a way of pinpointing what may be someone's thing that they are sensitive about. And so I recognized early on that, Gwendolyn, if you don't check what you're saying, you can hurt people, right? I'm fully aware of who I am. I know in the deepest, darkest places, if I was to truly choose to be that person, what I could be. It's like I said, when I say something, I ask myself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Right? And are there times where I choose to be petty and awful? You damn right, because I am human. I have every right to decide that I'm going to tiptoe to the other side. Yes, that is real. So when we talk about this having a certain decorum and all this other whatnot, for me, it's performance. I'm at a place of, we are not performing. Gwendolyn, she is not performing. We're not doing that. It's ridiculous. At some point, you're going to have to call a spade a spade. We would probably be more further along in life if we start acknowledging just how awful we are, especially as Americans. Because we do some stuff. We do some serious stuff. We got to get to a place of what's real and stop the decorum playing, stop the performance, stop the, oh, well, it's just, no, if we would start calling out the stuff, and we can just start with religion, because we know how that's been used to have power over people, how it's continuing to be used to have power over people, how it has harmed people. No, I am not religious. I am spiritual, though. And yes, my mama was a minister. So it ain't like I don't, I'm fully aware.
And religion, to your point, is different from spirituality. So you can be Baptist all day, but that really doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. That just means you follow the practices that Baptists have put in place. I go to a Baptist church, but I'm not Baptist. I say I'm a Christian, but I'm not necessarily aligning with everything. And the problem is that often religion, good ministers and things encourage you to ask questions and to question, but there are so many that don't, because they just want you to fall in line and not question. And then that gives them the license to do whatever they like. So I'm saying God gave us reasoning and discernment for a reason. So we should start to use that. So I want to go back to something. I don't know, Lisa, are you talking about this panel, or were you talking about a panel in terms of being believers? That's what I'm confused about. She said the disconnect may be something about the panel are not necessarily believers. Which panel are you talking about? Anyway, you could put it in the chat. Yeah. But because I was confused about, but those are my thoughts on that. I'm not necessarily a fan. It was the same thing with when they thought Fidel Castro died, and then when he actually died. I'm not a fan necessarily of them being in the streets celebrating celebrating the demise of someone, regardless of who it is. That's not something that I would do. At the same time, I understand that people have done things to others that will forever be stains on their hearts and their minds, and there's no amount of counseling and no amount of prayer or anything that can remove it from them. So we're saying you're just supposed to be okay with that? I don't think so. So I think people are within their right to feel how they feel. That doesn't change what I would do or how I feel or how I'm would not celebrate that type of thing, but I can't tell other people what to do either.
So Lisa says, for your information, it's in the Quran or the Torah. And she says this panel. Well, I'm a believer. So I know that. I don't know religious. So the panel is believers here. That's one. Number two is that not everyone that is on social media, and this conversation was about social media and how people were rejoicing and all that stuff. Not everyone is a Christian on social media. Not everyone's a Jewish person that believes in the Torah. And not everyone's a Muslim that believes in the Quran. Most people are agnostic. Some people are atheists. There are people that are believers that don't believe in all of what those books say. So there's different degrees of how people believe. And I think all people need to be respected and how they believe,
Absolutely.
or how they celebrate or not celebrate the death of someone. Some people rejoice, some people don't. Some people are excited about someone's dying. I mean, think about this. Think about the Christian slaveholder that was brutal to its slaves and would beat those slaves, the enslaved. But yet the Christian faith was passed on to the slaves, the enslaved.
Enslaved.
Don't you think? And here's just a thought, that when Master passed away, when he died, when the bad slave owner died, you don't think those slaves rejoice?
You know they celebrated. Let's not pretend that they did not celebrate.
And yet they were both Christians. The slaves were Christians, and the slave master considered himself a Christian.
Absolutely.
You have a right to how you feel, and you have a right to what you believe. You have a right to how you are celebrating something, and you have a right to not celebrate. That is an individual decision. And that's why great conversation creates great, subjects. We have this conversation is great because we are touching so many interesting areas. That's what you use these vehicles. I always say death to me is one of the greatest teachers. Now, I'm a believer of death. I put it in my screen. Death, where is your sting? So the scripture, if you believe in the gospel, for the believer, you believe there's an afterlife. You believe you're going to be with Jesus. But not everyone believes that. Most people don't believe that. As most of us as Christians like to feel like everyone knows about Christianity, there's a whole world that doesn't. There's a lot of people in the world. More people do not know about Christianity than do. And we can't judge by our belief system, because there are many belief systems. Right. But we forget. I mean, I noticed you say the Quran or the Torah or the Bible, but there's also Confucius. There's also Hinduism. There's also Chinese ancient religions. There's Japanese religion. There's naturalism. There's the Indian belief systems in the world, and so we can't narrow down to 3 religions when the world has multiple layers of religions. And some of those religions have been pollinated together, or brought together, I should say, fused together. Think about Christianity. We know Christianity as, when you look at the calendar, and now I know I'm going off in this little area, but I think it needs to be said. What Christians believe in America is so foreign from biblical teaching. When you think about Christmas, now we acknowledge that we celebrate Christmas. We celebrate that day as the day for the birth of Christ. But Christ wasn't born in December. He was born in April. Most historical notes say he was born in April, not December. But why do we have December? Because December was a pagan holiday.
It's a pagan. So same thing with Easter.
We took the pagan holidays and made them into Christian holidays. So unless you understand world religion, like I had an opportunity to study a little bit of it. Religion, you think about Christianity and all the paganism that is in it, from Constantine. Look it up. Easter, again, another pagan holiday. It's a pagan holiday. It's not, but Constantine said, how do I get the Christians on board? I'm going to fuse pagans with the Christianity. But you have to understand religion as a whole. If you ever throw religion as your foundational base of what you want to talk about, you have to understand where religion comes from in America. First of all, understanding where American Christianity is not practiced like it in other parts of the world. You go to Ethiopia, it's a whole different
thing.
and they are considered to have the closest to the Christian faith.
They're the original.
Exactly.
Original.
So you have to kind of like, yeah, I know we're all in our feelings when we got in, we want to talk about, the Bible and this and the Quran and the Torah and all that. That's cool. Get it. Love it. I love the Torah. I read pieces of the Quran, not a lot, much. That's it. Obviously, if it's been, in notes, like Jefferson's notes. You have to understand that this is a community of conversation with many backgrounds and many religious backgrounds and virtues or lack of virtue. So I just wanted to throw that in, is that we can't use Christianity as the barometer. There are so many other religions and so many other aspects of judging the way the world is. Anyone else want to add to that?
Well, the very last time that we talked about religion, I had mentioned that, yes, my mother is a retired minister, but there was also a point when she was like, you guys have to decide what you believe in and what your values are. So no, I don't celebrate Easter. I don't do Christmas. I observe more of the Jewish holidays. So Passover, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. I do that. That's where I am. I'm not religious. I've said 1,000 times, I'm not Christian. I know how I was raised. I am not. And when I look at what religion has done across the world, yeah, I can't get behind that. Cannot, will not. That's just how I vibe. But I also believe that everybody has a place for, as you mentioned, Ron, for where their values lie. I'm not putting my lifestyle and what I believe in on anybody else. My sister still celebrates Christmas, right? And she can have her tree and everything else. That's perfectly fine. I don't go and say, oh my God, I can't believe you're still doing that, because that's her value system. At some point, we have to just say, hey, I need to give room for everybody. And forgive me when I say this, even the people who are neo-Nazis, they have the right to be a neo-Nazi. That's their choice. That's just like, we have to give ourselves and everybody else room to live within their own imagination. That's it. So feel how you feel. I'm perfectly fine. Like, we are human. There's a million of us. We are all individuals. And as you mentioned, we have these conversations to just grow other perspective about how someone else feels and why they feel the way they feel. Really quick. There were some dudes who took my cousin years ago, the very first day of the year, took my cousin in 2022. Believe you me, when those bastards go, it's going to be a celebration. I'm not even going to lie about that. Right? Because it all depends on how something or someone has impacted you. I am not going to pretend like I feel some kind of way that these dudes who took my cousin are no longer on this side of the earth. No. When they go, it's going to be a party. Trust and believe. Plain and simple. So we're going to keep it a buck. If someone has harmed you or hurt you, do I have some sort of forgiveness? No. If I could do it myself, I sure as hell would do it myself.
And Lisa, I know you're saying what you're saying there is that this is not personal. This is not personal against you or what you said or what you're sharing or what you're putting in the text. It's cool. It's cool. It's okay for everyone to have their opinion. It's okay. And so I don't want anyone to walk away thinking it's personal. It is not personal. It is sharing the world that we live in, and it requires, as some people I like to say, diplomacy. You have to understand where people are and where they're coming from. Not everyone in this panel that are viewing this, that are coming from, that are going to see this later on a repeat, are from the same perspective as we are as individuals. We're talking in general. We're in a collective, and as we started this, the very facts are that the Lindsey Graham was not a nice person. And I think everyone could agree that he was not a nice person. He was pretty bad. And I think, and that's the fascinating part of watching social media, which I brought up earlier, is watching how social media is responding to the death of Lindsey Graham.
The thing is, it's really interesting. So, bring up religion, obviously, is because religion has such a strong effect on the way we view things, especially in America, right? Even if, the people who are perpetrating all these things are pseudo-Christians, but they claim Christianity, right? So they claim to be doing things in the name of whatever, of Christianity. So it's interesting to see how strong we cling to religion in order to do certain things, just as a country, right? And to justify certain things. I think, though, that at the end of the day, if we take the faith and the religion out of this, which is hard to do, but if we take it out of this, people are going to feel how they feel. We have nothing to say over it. The only control we have is over ourselves and our beliefs. So there's nothing that we can do about what other people say or do when it comes to this. And also, this is just my personal thing. He was a waste. So if it continues to be a waste to glorify him, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. People can feel how they will, but he was a complete waste. When you take what was given to you to make better of the world and you squander it like that, you're a waste.
Yeah, you're wasting
around it. You are a waste of skin, and nobody can convince me otherwise. So for us to, at this point, we're like, okay, well, moving on.
Yeah. So no, but I love the discussion. I love hearing how people are thinking. I love to hear the background. And again, and Lisa, I know you're saying you're probably you're saying I just named at least 7 religions. You skipped the part though. I did not. I placed it on the screen and made it seem like only because Christian. I never mentioned just Christians. I said all world religions. I went through many religions. We cannot take this personal. We cannot. And if you're in a community conversation, it is a community conversation. It is not about me. It's not about you. It's about the community. It's about sharing your thoughts and your perspective. This was not to single you out, but it was definitely, we did talk about many religions and all in that aspect.
I add something before you play the next comment? And I had this chat with Jazzy because I recently spoke about segregation and how perhaps Black Americans should consider voluntary segregation. And the first thing I asked for was an open mind. And I asked folks to just really think about how as Americans, we suck at communication. We suck at conversing with other people because we often go for a place of listening to respond to something versus listening to actually hear what that person is saying. And what's great about this platform and a lot of other platforms is that you get a chance to get this worldwide perspective for someone else who is living a different kind of life, who has a different value system. And you get a chance to hear them and say, okay, well, let me just step back and get an idea from where they're coming from. Because from where I'm sitting, I see it this way. And from where you're sitting, you see it that way. And if you just stop and marinate in that, you may walk away with some different thoughts. We're not changing the idea. The idea isn't to make you agree because, as our dear friend Rex said, agreement is never necessary. The whole idea is to have a conversation, hear the other person, and walk away thinking, okay, what did I take from that? What may I want to investigate? What may I want to add into my value system? But we never have to agree. But Americans have this thing, and I say Americans, that's all I know about, and we've seen it, that if you don't agree with me, you must be my enemy. The idea is there's so many different perspectives. We just want to give space for everyone to share their perspective, to be seen and heard. That is why I like us having these kinds of conversations.
I do too.
Absolutely.
It's great.
And I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think that sometimes this is a good wake-up call for everybody to know that, because so often we are on the same page with things in this community, and we all tend to not groupthink, but we all kind of, think sort of the same way when it comes to certain things. So it's a good reminder that we are individuals and we're not all going to think the same way. And we believe in different things. We have different thought processes. We come from differences in backgrounds, and that's okay. I think that's the cool thing, because how boring would it be if everything was agreement all the time? And of course, we've had those pages like, I don't agree, but these things like this are great to show us, you know what? It's okay. We have differences of opinion when it comes to things, and that's okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to, I think I'm going to let you guys go, but this was great. And I'm going to do my Motivation Monday, because we have our Motivation Mondays. It's very quick for today. So we'll do a Motivation Monday from our Patreon page. And but this was great. I enjoyed this conversation. I always love to hear what people are thinking. I think people are fascinating. And again, it's our differences that make us even more exciting to dive into why you think the way you think. I love it. So thank you again, Dr. Tachi, Gwendolyn. As usual, you always come with some fire. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I want to say thank you for coming on. And I'm going to go straight into our Motivation Monday. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Let's go right into Motivation Monday. Here we go. So here we have our Motivation Monday for the day. We're going to close out with on a positive note. I think that was a positive note as well. But today we are talking about the power of the whisper. And it's going to be real quick, really quick. It's so quick, very quick. Okay, this quote is from Michael Kina. Reminds us, I prefer the whisper to the shout. For photographers and creatives, that's not just a quote. It's a strategy of how to move through the week with presence, clarity, and courage. Number one, quiet vision. I know everyone's all got the feathers going on in the world today, especially this week, after this weekend, I should say. But the whisper is where your eyes sharpens. It's the pause before the shutter clicks, the breath before the idea forms. Start your Monday by noticing what others rush past. The subtle light, the overlooked details, the story behind in plain sight. I was to say hiding in plain sight. So quiet, number one, in the whisper, quiet, quiet. The photographer, the artist, look at the vision. Number two, quick courage. Whispers require bravery. Anyone can shout. Anyone can shout. It takes discipline to create with restraint. Let your work this week be bold in its I always my word, but I had it all there. My brain can't get it. I can't get that word. And I went and practiced it before. Intentional, refined, and rooted in your own truth. Have courage. When someone whispers, what do people have to do? They have to get close to you. When someone's whispering, they have to get close. Getting close requires courage. Thank you. Thank you. Number three, quiet connection. Our community thrives on the moments that feel intimate and real. A whisper invites others closer. Share something today that feels honest. A frame, a reflection, a small victory. Your quiet offering might be exactly what someone else needs to begin again. So again, it is all about the power of the whisper. So as you go out into the streets this week, as you go out and do your creative work as a photographer, as you're out there doing your art or living as a creative, some quiet whispers may be the thing you need to better create. Hope that helps someone today. I hope that thought helps someone. And for some reason, some words just don't click in my brain. Anyway, there we go. And thank you so much for joining us. Good stuff, says Dr. Taji. Classic Jim says, great conversation. Thank you guys for being and participating. But again, we are a community of many people from many backgrounds. And there are many people that watch this video and watch this, what we share here. So let's be respectful to everyone, and from everyone's point of view, religion, creed, and backgrounds. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. I'll see you tomorrow.